in a moment we'll say hello to the star of the One Show. But first, let me give you the answer to the no Googling question. Only 2 Waynes have ever won the Premier League, Wayne Rooney being one.
Bridgie.
Jermaine Jenas, who's the other one?
That's
two,
what?
2 Waynes have won the Premier League. Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Bridge.
Wayne Bridge.
Yeah, I just said it.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. I'm still not happy with this intro that you keep giving me, though. We've got to switch it up. The star of the One Show is Alex Jones.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll change it.
Go
Alongside myself and Bentley now is someone that was drafted into today's golf day at the last moment because Declan Rice was unavailable.
It's
Jermaine Jenas.
Scandal!
How are you?
Producer. Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
That is the case, right? He was here, James Maddison was telling us. And I was like, well, that's nice that I got the invite months ago.
That's not exactly what happened, no. I got the invite, but I got upgraded. You know, Declan unfortunately couldn't be here, and then I got a phone call from Maddison last night saying, bro, I need you to step up, come into the top team and deliver. And
that's nice.
That's what I did, and, you know, a few of the team fell a little bit short, but, you know, I did my job today.
Well, you know, I heard that you played really well, JJ.
I did play well,
but
thank you.
I'm hearing that somebody here, him, over there, finished like second from bottom.
Yeah, he's playing with hockey sticks, I think. He brought his hockey sticks.
It's quite annoying, not only is he good looking and he's built really well and he's good at golf.
Do you know another thing as well? And he's wearing Travis Scott's as well.
Come on, man, take me to the party.
Do you know what? Mine are in the car.
Oh, are they?
Right? And I'll tell you what, 2 reasons why I didn't wear them. 1, I thought with 2 wet I'll ruin them.
Yeah.
And 2, I remember you saying to me, you better be good if you wear them.
You better turn up. You better deliver.
So I went save them.
I like it. Put Air Max as well.
I should point out to people, the reason we're talking to you is because we're here at the Maddison Invitational Charity Golf Day for Noah's Ark Hospice, which supports children with life-limiting or life-threatening conditions and their families. It's been a wonderful... I've really enjoyed it, right? My level of golf is nowhere near yours, but it's sort of irrelevant on a day like this, right? It's all about loads of people coming together and making loads of money.
Exactly that, and I think, you know, I went to Maddison's... the Invitational last year, which was at the Shire, and he had loads of people turn up and he raised a load of money for such a great cause. And I was obviously speaking to James around, as I was going around the course, about numerous things, and one of the big things was, you know, kind of when Spurs get their players together towards either the end of the year at Christmas and they send them to certain hospices or hospitals to go and visit, you know, certain wards to kind of just give back a lot to the community. A lot of that kind of affected him in a really kind of in a way that he felt engaged enough to put on such a great event that we've got today to raise a lot of money. I think that just kind of epitomises James as a person, to be honest with you. He's not very much a sit and watch from the background and I could have done something kind of person. He's very driven towards helping people as much as he possibly can. And, you know, he's obviously got one eye fully focused on the Euros as well. So, absolutely, you know, couldn't be prouder of him. Great.
No, I echo that as well. We'll talk football in just a moment. How did you play today? Someone got a hole in one, did you hear?
Really?
But it wasn't on the hole where you get a free car.
Well, where's my drink? For starters, I had a drink.
That's a very good. We should hear the ding-a-ling-ling.
Yeah,
we should
hear that. I played really well. I was 3 over for the day on a really tough day. So
that is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you knew what it was like out there today. It was windy, it was wet, it was raining. I played really well, so I'm delighted with my performance.
I'd like to jump in on this chat.
You don't even know what it means, do you?
No, don't. 3 over.
3 over on a day like this, on a normal day.
Yeah,
it's amazing. But today is quite.
What does bandit mean?
Bandit basically means that if you're handicapped, like, so there's a certain guy called Wes Nelson.
Right?
You know Wes Nelson?
Yeah.
Wes Nelson plays off 20, and he's a bandit, basically. He's a much better player than that. He should be playing off something like, I think, 15.
Yeah.
So he could potentially win today with a very high score and get booed out of the room. But I don't know what
he's a bandit.
I'm off 18.4, right?
I think that's safe.
But I mean, I was so bad for a lot of the whole. I mean, you've just pointed out I came about 68th, Bentley.
Yeah.
68th out of 82.
Yeah,
all right, okay. That's not been confirmed yet, by the way.
You hear rumours anyway. People, Goldstein's a bandit this way. You don't hear that about him, to be fair. So, you know, he started his golfing career okay.
The way I look at it, I can't be a genius at everything. All right?
This is true.
Let's talk football, shall we?
Please.
We've had Matty Cash with us. We had James Maddison. Who else has sat down with us?
Adam Lallana.
So we've talked about a lot of the clubs in the Premier League, not just the clubs they've been at, but a lot of them. One of the questions I asked James Maddison was about Spurs finishing 5th.
Yeah.
And was it a disappointment? Because they were top for a bit. They had a great start in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And then he was like, understandably, like, we wanted Champions League football, which I get. When you look at the top 4 now with Villa in there as well, do you think we've got the right top 4, the best top? I know people say the league table never lies.
I think so. I think once the dust settles on the season and you get to kind of reflect and have a good look at it, I think, you know, given where Ange Postecoglou picked up the team, in terms of the style of football that they were playing, bigger than anything, not so much kind of positionally, but the feeling around Tottenham at that particular time. And also, if we're honest, when Ange was kind of mentioned to come in as the manager, I don't think there was a massive like, oh, this is amazing, the manager has arrived for us. So I think him turning up and delivering the performances that he has done has been a real positive. Finishing 5th, given the position they were, a bit of a disappointment, but I still think it's a positive overall. And the reason why I say that is because of the way that Unai Emery finished last year. So he had that little running start at the end of last year, and he was showing signs of Villa are coming, and he delivered that this year. And I think Villa were worthy kind of their Champions League position, essentially. And absolutely, I mean, I was lucky enough, Benty was there for a long period of time. I spent a very brief time at Villa. And what a football club. And when that Champions League music kicks off at Villa Park this year, it is going to go crazy. I can't wait to see it.
Do you know what's mad as well is that you say that, and listen, Unai did a fantastic job. But also, which you didn't mention there, the fact that they lost Harry Kane as well.
Yeah.
So to finish 5th when you've arguably lost
your best player,
one of the best players in their history, if not the best, for him to still finish 5th.
Correct.
I still think it's outstanding.
It is, and bedding in new players and Dougie coming in. And I know like Porro, Maddison, all you got to knit it all together. And essentially, when I look at their season, they lost their midfield for about 4 months. He didn't have a clue what to do with his midfield. It was Basuma, Sarr, Højbjerg, Sarr, Skip was in there. It was like he had no protection in that midfield, which is why I think they conceded so many goals towards the end, which is essentially what cost them that Champions League position. So there'll be a big, I think, turnaround this year in the summer. But next year, the goal has to be Champions League football.
We had a fascinating chat with Adam Lallana. One of the things he said was the way that managers are treated nowadays, not given enough time.
Yeah.
He said this is what he said. It sort of put me off thinking about going in that direction at the moment. And so I said, well, just elaborate a bit more. What do you mean? He's like, well, there are certain managers that it's all or nothing. If they haven't done it in the first season, it's game over, they get the sack, which I agree with. That is the state of affairs at the moment. And that, of course, led me down the path of a conversation about Erik ten Hag. Where do you stand on whether or not he should remain as Manchester United manager?
I mean, look, obviously, he's got himself into a little bit, well, the fans and everybody's mindset around Manchester United into a little bit of pickle, having put in one of their best performances of the year to get that win. I still think that they should look elsewhere, personally.
Why?
Because I think you base a manager's performance over the longevity of a season. And when I look at Manchester United right now, bear in mind, right, Andy, that performance was a very specific and bespoke designed performance for one game. So it was very much like Manchester City are going to have a lot of the ball, we can sit in and play counter-attacking football. Manchester United fans are not going to accept that week in, week out at Old Trafford. They want to be on the ball, they want to be dominating games, they want to be playing attacking, exciting football, right? So I've not seen, personally, what's he been there, 3 years?
2 years.
2 years. I don't think I've seen many performances that I can sit there and go, that's an Erik ten Hag performance. I still to this day don't know what he does.
But does it not take time for players to get used to a manager, used to formations and tactics and understanding?
I don't think it takes 2 years. I think 6 months is enough time to kind of look at a team and go, okay, you might not be winning games, but I totally understand the direction that this team is now moving in. And even during that period of time, I'm prepared to accept the losses because you're trying this and you're trying that. I think watching Erik ten Hag, and we have to factor in that also from an injury perspective, he's had a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Granted, Luke Shaw, Malacia has had no left side for God knows how long. I'm just not convinced myself. I get why Manchester United fans should feel hugely appreciative of the trophies that he's delivered over the last couple of years, because being obviously at Spurs, you realise those things don't happen very often, and the fans would love one of the two. But if I'm looking for like 2, 3, 5 years ahead from Manchester United fans, I just don't think he's the man that is going to get them back into that dominant place that they need to be.
Do you know, there's only one thing I said, because you spoke about 2 years, right? But when you look at someone like Oliver Glasner, what he's done in such a short period of time.
Correct.
Look at Unai Emery, he's been in there. Postecoglou, there's a load of them.
On its head.
There's loads of them, I think, that have been there less time than 10 Hag, but you go, all right, that's the way Crystal Palace play.
Yeah.
That's the way Aston Villa play. That's the way Spurs play. But as you said there with Erik ten Hag, it's still like it fluctuates from game to game. They have games where you go, this Manchester City game, but then on the flip side you go, Bournemouth at home.
You must feel that as fans. You must feel it as fans that every game you go into, you love your team, but you must think, I'm just not 100% sure what we're going to do today.
I just think, and I've said it before a lot of times to Bentley on air, and he sort of like poo-poos it, but United have had injury problems. I know a lot of clubs have, but United have had something like 33 different back fives and 13 different centre-half pairings.
Yeah.
And we saw when you've got Martinez fit with Varane,
100%,
it does make a difference.
Huge.
It really does. Then you've got a goalkeeper behind who trusts his two centre-halves.
Yeah.
So I really do think that with young players coming through like Manu and Garnacho, I think it's exciting. And I just worry that a new manager comes in and it's like, right, that player leaves, leaves, new players come in, then you've got to set up you've got to start from the very beginning.
And what the one thing I would say on this is when you kind of look out there now, and then obviously everybody be screaming, well, Pochettino is the obvious candidate on the basis of his relationship with Sir Alex previously, nearly getting the job. But apart from that, what you got, Thomas Tuchel is probably available. I mean, he was at Chelsea before, and you could argue, obviously, Champions League, blah, blah, blah. Is that the type of football that you want to play? I don't know 100%, but what I would say is it wouldn't be a massive shock to me or that bad if they gave him one more year just to see what happens in the managerial circuit, to see if anybody else becomes available for the job or to see if any more players become available. It would make sense to sometimes give him that 6 months to a year.
On the back of that, one manager that has been linked, but supposedly is now staying at Ipswich, Kieran McKenna. Okay.
Linked with United?
Yeah, was one of the names.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you think that was too much of a step up for someone like Kieran McKenna? Too soon, too early?
I think so, yeah. I think, one thing that would obviously be in his favour is that he's been at the football club, so he's felt the kind of the weight, the fabric, he's been around the expectation of the football club. But I'd be looking at it more from a Kieran McKenna development as a manager point of view, and also from an Ipswich point of view as well. I almost like from a selfish Ipswich fan, I think it would be right for Kieran. I think his stock is still going to be high at the end of this season, as we've seen with Vincent Kompany. I think that a lot of people look at certain coaches in a certain way, and I think that Kieran McKenna's stock is still going to be high, regardless of what happens with Ipswich at the end of the year. Yeah. So he should stay, really.
Okay. Even if he plays football in the right way and they go
I
down.
Think so, yeah.
Like Vincent Kompany, because who would have predicted Burnley go down and he goes to Bayern Munich?
Madness.
I just think if
that
you
is
stick
madness,
if you stick to your principles, the opportunities will be there.
Let me quickly get your view, because I know you've been with this for a long time. I appreciate that.
That's all right.
Quickly get your view on a manager that factually Eric Ten Hag is twice as good as, and that is Mikel Arteta. Well, you can't argue with 2 trophies. 2
trophies and 8.
All jokes aside,
yeah.
How long can Arteta go on for and not win trophies?
That's a really strange question. Like, he has been brilliant. He's been absolutely... again...
by the way, I'm not loading this question.
I know he is loading it.
But what I mean is, when I talk to Bentley about, second, we're improving, we're getting better. I just want to know, from your perspective, when any manager, not just Arteta, but any manager in that scenario, when all of a sudden you go, OK, now we need to see something.
He's won an FA Cup.
With Emery's team.
Stop saying that, honestly.
He's won an FA Cup. As a manager, in his office, he's got the FA Cup on the side.
With someone else's team.
Doesn't matter. He won it. So I think the trophy thing is irrelevant. I really do. When I look at it really is, because when I look at Arteta, you underestimate how toxic I think that environment was at Arsenal from a fan perspective, even for a large period of time. You look at what Granit Xhaka was going through at that football club for a period of time, and other players. There were scapegoats getting dealt with.
Was another one.
Yeah, week in, week out, there were scapegoats. He flipped that on its head completely. He soaked up all that pressure himself. Because if you remember, it all got directed to him at one point as well. And as a brand new manager coming into the Premier League, he dealt with all that pressure. He changed their style of play. He brought in better players to improve them. And they are serious contenders now to be challenging week in, week out in the Premier League. So if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be hoping that Mikel Arteta is at that football club for at least another 5 years, because it's only got better and better and better, and eventually they're going to win the league.
Okay. Before I let go, quick word about Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Worried about them next season? Reportedly, they may have to sell a certain amount of players to stay in line with financial fair play. Yeah, there are massive concerns, if I'm totally honest with you. I think, if someone like Gibbs White has to go, or Callum Hudson-Odoi, they were the kind of linchpins for Forest season. Just losing them will have that kind of impact that will send them down. It's a very simple one with Forest. They have got a couple of guys that are stars in that team, the young players. After that, there's a few workhorses, and they weren't good enough this year. Even with the points deduction, they should have been way safer than they were. Very fortunate that the teams came up, were miles off it. So
Yeah, big concerns at Forest. If Morgan Gibbs-White has to go or Callum, it'll be a huge loss, and I only see relegation.
Thank you for coming and joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're looking good, Nick. What are you benching?
Appreciate it. No, just keeping it light these days. You
ain't keeping it light.
You're not.
That's right. You ain't keeping it light.
I'm just working shoulders, keeping my shape.
What are you benching? That's a chest and a half. What are you going for?
Just a little 100 kg. Just a little calm.
You'd snap your spine doing that.
I reckon I could get close to that. One of those.
No chance.
1 rep max.
No way.
I'll have it by Christmas.
No chance.
What are you laughing for, Julius?
You two kill me. That's
I much prefer Alex Jones.
I say it every time. I love your show, by the way.
That's very kind.
Absolutely brilliant.
We love the One Show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
It's horrible.
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate your time.
Jason.
We love you.
Thank you,
Thanks, man. You're a superstar. Reminder that me and Bentley, we're here at the Maddison Invitational Charity Golf Day for Noah's Ark Hospice, which supports children with life-limiting or life-threatening conditions and their families. For more information, you can head to noahsarkhospice.org.uk.
talkSPORT Drive. Super opinionated sporting debate. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.